Hey everyone, and welcome! Today we're diving into a really interesting and sometimes kinda confusing trend in the world of Korean boys' love dramas, or KBLs as we know and love them. So, you've just finished binging an incredible KBL series, right? You're totally invested. Then, you see there's a movie version, you press play, and wait a minute, where did your favorite scenes go? It's a super common thing for fans to run into, and today we're gonna figure out exactly why it happens.
All right, so the answer, maybe unsurprisingly, starts with money and business. The decision to chop up a series and turn it into a movie isn't just some random creative choice. Oh no, it's a really strategic move that's all about the practical realities of the industry.
Okay, reason number one, the global market. Think about it. It's just way easier to sell a single self-contained movie to international distributors or get it into film festivals than it is to sell a whole multi-episode series. For instance, the director of The Eighth Sense literally said it was simpler to get the film rights sorted for a theatrical release than the TV rights. So boom, the movie version becomes a really smart business play.
Next up is funding. The KBL scene is blowing up, but a lot of these shows are still working with way smaller budgets than the giant mainstream K-dramas. This usually means they produce these awesome but short web series, maybe 8 episodes, 15 minutes each. And what does that add up to? Well, it's the perfect length to stitch together into a feature-length film.
And finally, it's all about us, the audience, and how we watch things now. A movie is just perfect for binge watching. Plus, it lets production companies cash in on the same story twice. First, they release it as a weekly series, and then they repackage it as a film for a totally different platform or audience. Pretty clever, right?
So to sum it up, this whole trend is basically a smart financial strategy. It's born from tricky licensing rules, tight budgets, and let's be honest, our collective love of binge watching. But how does a business decision like this actually affect the story we care about?
Okay, so we've got the why covered. But what about the what? What's the real impact on the story? What are the moments, the lines, the looks that get left on the cutting room floor when you squeeze a whole series into a 2-hour movie?
Well, it really is a classic trade-off. In a series, you get that delicious slow burn. You get to explore side characters. You got all the subplots. The movie version, though, it has to be laser-focused on the main couple. And that often means losing those quiet little moments and all the rich context that probably made you fall in love with the show in the first place.
And if you want to understand just how massive these cuts can be, just look at The Eighth Sense. The series is 5 hours long. The movie, it's just 2. That means a whopping 60% of the original story, we're talking character development, background, emotional buildup, it's just gone.
But wait, it's not always about just cutting things out. Sometimes the changes are more stylistic. The movie For Where Your Eyes Linger got rid of the internal monologues to make it flow better. Our dating sim snipped out those fun video game clips. And here's the best part. Sometimes you actually get a bonus. The movie version of The New Employee added brand new scenes that weren't in the series.
So with all these changes, some good, some not so good, how do the most important people, the fans, actually feel about all this? Is it a welcome convenience, or is it a creative compromise that just hurts the story?
As you can probably guess, the fan community is pretty split on this. On one hand, some people absolutely love the convenience of a movie you can binge in one sitting, especially if you get some bonus scenes. But on the other hand, a lot of fans feel like the rushed pace and the huge cuts just strip away the story's emotional heart, basically all the little details that made it special.
And this is where things can get really heated. Fans get especially upset when an adaptation, particularly one from a book or a manhwa, seems to deliberately tone down the romance. It's a practice some fans call streetwashing, and to many, it feels like a total betrayal of the source material. A recent show that got people talking about this was High School Return of a Gangster, where fans felt the adaptation just erased the core queer romance from the original story.
So you might be wondering, is this something that happens with all Korean dramas? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture.
And the short answer is, nope, not at all. This whole series-to-movie pipeline is pretty much exclusive to the world of shorter, web-based series, which is where the KBL genre really shines. This is definitely not standard practice for those big-budget, mainstream K-dramas you see on major platforms.
And the reasons for that are pretty simple, really. Mainstream K-dramas are just built differently. They have massive budgets, they're designed from the ground up to be 16 or 20 hours long, and the global audience expects that format. Trying to condense a 16-hour epic into a 2-hour movie? Yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Okay,
So we've established this is a very specific Korean web series thing. But how does Korea's approach stack up against the other big BL-producing countries in Asia? Is everyone doing this?
It turns out Korea's re-edited movie compilations are actually pretty unique. If you look at BL giants like Thailand and Taiwan, long series are the standard, and movie versions are super rare. Then you have Japan, which does its own thing. A popular series might get a movie, but it's usually a sequel with brand new content, not a re-edit. And of course, censorship in China creates a whole different landscape of bromance series.
So, the main takeaway here is that re-editing a series into a movie is a distinctly Korean strategy. It's a direct result of its specific production industry and budgets, and it's definitely not something you see happening all across the Asian BL world.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Is the KBL movie cut a brilliant business move that helps these amazing stories find a bigger global audience? Or is it a creative compromise that ends up watering down the rich, detailed storytelling that made us all fall in love in the first place?
So what do you think? Which one do you usually watch? The full series or the condensed movie? I'd love to hear your take, so drop a comment down below. And hey, if you had fun breaking this down with me, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explainers like this one. Thanks for hanging out.